Good morning again. I'm Armstrong Williams. Thank you for joining us for the video blog. More and more I'm beginning to realize just how divided we are as a country, but not divided in the way that we think. Just because someone is on the left and someone is on the right, we assume that we have little in common and that our views pollute each other. And what we do, we savage each other. We brutalize each other. We're uncivil to each other. But I don't know if you saw yesterday's posting about legislative malpractice and how members of Congress are trying to usher through a health care bill which does not apply to them. They have been completely exempt from it, completely exempt. And yet we sit and think that they have our best interests at heart. We defend them. If we're Republican, we defend the Republicans. If they're Democrats, we defend the Democrats. And that's exactly what they want us to do. But you know what I'm beginning to realize? More and more that the Democrats and the Republicans have far more in common than we're willing to give them credit for. They protect themselves. They make sure they get the Cadillac medical, Cadillac health care, and they exempt themselves. Listen, I did more research. The Freedom of Information Act does not apply to members of Congress. The Civil Rights Laws of 1964 does not apply to Congress. The OSHA laws, if there are fatalities in the workplace, if there's discrimination in the workplace, if there's retaliation in the workplace, does not apply to Congress. We need to research to find out just how many of the laws that are on the book that does not apply to these czars, to these emperors. I care about the truth. I care about what is in the best interest of this country. Yes, at one time in my life, I was a political hack. But after No Child Left Behind, I came to my fork in the road. I was on my road to Damascus. And I learned, you know what? I don't want to advocate anyone unless it's what I believe in. And that's what we've got to get to as Americans. I mean, when you look at healthcare, Afghanistan, the sluggish economy, the threat from Iran, the chaos in the Middle East, what the Russians are trying to do because they perceive we have a weak president. If you look at all the things that are around us, America is in crisis. And the only way that America can come out of this crisis is that we awaken a sleeping giant. And that sleeping giant are we, the American people. We need to stop this bickering. We need to stop taking these adversarial roles and positions towards each other. And look, if you and I disagree on public option, if we disagree on health care, as long as we disagree on principle, because that's exactly what we believe, and we're on opposite sides, that's okay. Because it's the frictions of minds, it's the friction of ideas that make this country what it is. And I must tell you, we must put Congress more in the focus, because I got to tell you, they're really out of control. They're exploiting us, they're dividing us, and when the lights are turned off in the hearing rooms, they go out, socialize, laugh, and just think about how they hoodwink. They play each other, they play with each other against us. And we've got to stop this. We have to come together and save this democracy. We must save it. There is so much that's at risk. There is so much that's at stake. Our livelihood, our children, and our grandchildren. And so I'm begging you, take a close look at these emperors, because these emperors have no clothing. They're more alike than we're willing to give them credit for. Exempt from health care, exempt from OSHA laws, exempt from the civil rights legislation that passed in 1964, exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. You got to be kidding me. It's time for us to get busy and do what we're supposed to do, is lead and make these arrogant, out of control members of Congress follow. I'm Armstrong Williams.